Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to SimtraxBroadcasting. This is Patrick Morrison coming to you live here with the Bandit Racing League. Super excited to see all you guys joining us tonight here at South Boston Speedway. Definitely a mixing bowl track that everybody's super excited about tonight. And well, with the points race, we're going to see a ton of door rubbing out here and guys pushing each other around out there on the track. Expect to see drivers like Matt Crockett looking to fight his way up to the front. Victor Weaver to try to aim for his first top five if he can nail it. Without getting piled up in the front, and then we'll be seeing a little bit of Nick Nickerson as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at our qualifying times that we just seem to squeeze and miss there. Yep, you would think that guy in the number one spot after a 4-race hiatus has returned. Jonathan Platt back on the board here. He'll be starting in that number one spot, and Eddie Hagge will be right to his outside. Now, I definitely expect to see Eddie Hagge definitely start pushing and bumping and rubbing out there with Jonathan Platt. Do not want to let that guy get away. He may be right back to resume that spot in the number one area, especially in the points. Now, I want to go ahead and let's take a moment right now to take a look at those points. Now, it has been short-lived here for Nick Nickerson as he pops there on the top. Looks like I got Logan Murray currently out there with the 376 mark. But it should be Nick Nickerson, Kevin Foster, and Jonathan Platt should be 1, 2, and 3 out there. Kind of a little bit of a mix-up there. But Nickerson had just overtaken with the win from the last race at USA. He had come in that number one spot, and that is very difficult. Seeing that Nickerson has been battling back and forth with a little bit of attendance issues, being able to get back onto the track, and then finally is able to make up some ground here and shoot his way to the front, and is just absolutely heartbreaking that there may be the possibility here that we may see Nickerson come unseated here, and I'm a little nervous that may be what we're going to see, and hopefully that does not continue to move along through. So we'll see how it goes. Drivers are currently in the warm-up, going ahead and knocking down some time out there, going ahead and scuffing the tires. There will be a little bit of wear out here. There was plenty of practice, so expect to see marbles already on the track. I do not believe I see a road crew out there tonight to be knocking down the marbles off the side stanchions there, and we'll see if that's going to be a problem when a driver decides to take a turn high. Let's go ahead and get this thing off our screen here and get a quick look here at drivers like Eddie Hagge, who scored in our front row out there in the number 97 machine. Let's see how he does. Currently, you see some side-by-side racing out there with Jackson Knock and Jonathan Platt. But I will say, during practice, Jonathan Platt had some trouble out there. He had clipped the wall a few times and actually ended up with a ton of damage to the 43. I do not believe... checking my notes, yes, he did have to go to the backup car here, and he is going to go ahead and let it rip, but the backup car is the one that qualified, so he will not be taking any penalty and heading toward the back. Currently, as our 43 machine, we may or may not see a ton of him tonight. If he gets out front, well, we can pretty much wave him goodbye. I haven't seen anybody really been able to overtake the 43. This guy just nails those restarts, but my big question out here is when we see drivers like Jonathan Platt return back to the race here and be able to get back into the cockpit, are we going to see a lot of different things out there if guys are going to be changing it up, and we're going to see a lot of resuming to the same thing? Kevin Foster out there on the track, and I believe I've also got him in the radio. Kevin Foster, it looks like Jonathan Platt has returned. Are we back to caution racing, or is this going to be some rough racing out there for you guys side by side?
Oh, it's going to be, we got a great setup tonight. We're here at South Boston, and there is going to be passing tonight. I guarantee it, so everyone out there stay tuned to that. There's 3 lanes of this track. You can run high. You can run down here on the apron like I'm doing, trying to get around Bill. It's just, it's going to be super exciting, and we got a great car count tonight. Really looking forward to it is a bumpy track. There might be a couple cautions, but we learned a few things as far as a group, and hopefully we pull our heads out of our butts and have very minimal cautions tonight. But as far as the racing on track is going to be phenomenal.
All right, I see a lot of dive bombing out here, especially the one in the rearview mirror. Jason Greenwell seems to be figuring out this track, and it seems to be smoothing out for him. He's pretty excited about this race as well, but we've definitely got 15 other drivers gunning for that number one spot that Jonathan Platt will be starting in here tonight. can you kind of lean us into, who is the most dangerous out here on the track? With Nickerson taking over the lead, Platt returning back to the track. I mean, it's going to be a lot of guys out here aiming for that spot.
Yes, we do have a little bit of bounty on Nick tonight. He has 1-2 in a row, but Jonathan Platt, this is his bread and butter. This is what he does, and he's going to be definitely tough to beat. But hopefully the 8 car, I'm tired of being a bridesmaid here in this league. Definitely want to pull through for a victory, but hopefully, maybe get a late race caution. Something happens on track, and I might forget my braking point, get into the back of the 43. Who knows? It's going to be exciting, and I can't wait.
All right, I was getting ready to start hinting to everybody out there that a little bump and run, Greenwell got you that time, but a little bump and run out there between you and Platt or other drivers talking about knocking that 43 around a little bit to see if you can take him off his game. I think even if this guy got in a wreck, ended up at the back of the field, I think he'd pile drive like Curtis Yancey up to the front. All right, good luck out there, Kevin.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody, Kevin Foster getting out there, and I talked a little bit about Curtis Yancey. Yep, we'll see him as well tonight, the number 51 machine. Excited to see him, the only driver I'm sure a couple of you are looking for. Even Patsy Steele, Jay, or Robin Allen are probably questioning, hey, where is Action Jackson out here? Still not showing his face as of yet, is definitely showing in the points, as it is knocking him down week after week, him not returning. So hopefully we will be able to see him get back out onto the track and return back to us. I believe he moved from the 99 to the 91 and is not doing that number any justice when he is not showing up. So we'll see how all this is going to fare. You see Kevin Foster getting out there, Ethan Sikorsky out there in the 94 machine, and these guys are getting ready. Even Nicole Crazel out there, I believe that is in the Lady Chaos number 6. Glad to see her joining up out here. Appreciate you guys joining us here at Simtrax Broadcasting. Once again, we are here at the South Boston Speedway. We'll go ahead and take a little look here at what our race is going to consist of here tonight. 150 laps, 100% fuel limit, and 3 sets of tires down in the pit. This will be an open setup race. I show modified fixed. In other words, they have gone ahead and built definitely a good racing chassis for everybody to race here tonight for a solid finish. Definitely well handling, but they cannot modify it. There'll be, fortunately, one fast repair. I'll be your producer and lead commentator here tonight. Dalton Kilroy, not on the track here tonight after his third place finish last week. He'll be back in the spotter's position, watching there for race control. Fortunately, a wonderful 70 degrees in the air and on the track here with this Virginia temperature. Pretty calm and definitely a mild temperature out there for these cars. Definitely a lot better than their political stance that they are fighting around with over on that side. So we'll go ahead and take a look at what our race is going to consist of here and our starting lineup. Let's go ahead and take a look. Jonathan Platt and Eddie Hagge, we talked about them a bunch. Get them out of your mouth, but we'll be having plenty of them here in the front row. Nick Nickerson will be starting third. Kevin Foster, so GFR, lines up for row number 2. Curtis Yancey sits 5th. Jackson Knock. Boy, those are 2 drivers I expect to pile drive toward the front. Connor Gibson, no provisional tonight. He shows up, sitting 7th. He'll be on the inside here of Bill Harkins. Jason Greenwell will be 9th. Matt Crockett finishing out our 10th spot. And we are still looking for Victor Weaver. Let's see if we can find him. Ethan Sikorsky is 11th. Bob Berry in that 12th spot. Moving on back here where we're looking at the last of them. There he is. Victor Weaver sitting 13th. Moving on back here, I believe that is Nicole Crazel, David Lakey, and Terry Condis. It said Terry Condis was possibly going to race here tonight. I've got him here registered to race, but I do not see him behind the wheel, which is going to cause a little bit of trouble for his race team out there if he's not able to take green. We saw Russ Allen actually end up a lap down, and that guy still finished top 10 last week. What an excellent race that was for Russ Allen, being able to come back from race and coming down from a lap down. Jonathan Platt working his way down the backstretch into turn number 3 here. He's going to go ahead and get his restart underway. We have not seen this guy have a decent run here, but we are going to see him kick it off right now. Jonathan Platt, quick jump out front. He gets it. Eddie Hagge close behind, trying to see if he can squeeze on through before Nickerson decides to attack. Stage break will be at lap number 70 here as we are underway. Contact off the edge of the wall here. like some trouble back there for Curtis Yancey. I'm wondering if he's having a little trouble with looseness on the track. I was talking about marbles earlier, and we'll see how it's going to go. Right now, still battling out there. That is knock on the outside of Connor Gibson. Gibson in the Canadian Tire, number 31. You see him down there on the bottom, currently holding 6th position. Jackson Knock is still making a bid for that spot. Right now, Eddie Hagge running a much higher line than his counterpart that sits in front of him. We'll see if that's going to cause any trouble out here. Currently, these are the 2 closest drivers. I think Ethan Sikorsky back there is sniffing around Matt Crockett looking for a pass, but has not found the door opened yet. Right now, a little bit off pace here. Way back, Victor Weaver and Nicole Krazel. Look like they may have missed a shifter. These two got in a scuffle as they are way off pace. Hopefully Victor Weaver was able to show up on Tuesday night for practice. It looks like he might be a little bit behind here. We'll see if he can hang on. All right. Very unusual for South Boston to be quiet out here. Nobody really pressing real hard. Take a look. That's David Lakey getting around Matt Crockett. Crockett now rolling backwards. Look like Lakey might have gotten a little bit of a hint there. As I believe Patsy Steele is going to be pretty happy to see David Lakey working his way forward. Only we see Lakey going ahead and giving it the college try. Goes out there and qualifies top 5 and rolls outside the top 10 in the first stage. And then ends up in all sorts of trouble because that's where the trouble begins brewing, is outside the top 5. So David Lakey starting way back. He's already moved up 3 positions here so far tonight. Robin Allen is saying no practicing for Weaver. Hopefully that's not going to cost him here. Right now I think he's about 4 seconds from going a lap down. All right, beautiful race here so far. Definitely tons of stuff happening out there. Last time we saw Jonathan Platt take the start of the race and finish it was back on 5 flags on February 4th. This guy definitely opened it up and is going ahead, keeping the charge going. Eddie Hagge knows he wants to make a name for himself. He's got to get a win here, as he is desperately scrambling to figure out what he can do to get around Jonathan Platt, and he's got to do it soon. Right now, he is definitely working this race to the way he wants it to be. Currently, Eddie Hagge is sitting 5th there in the points. And Eddie Hagge, here it comes, starting to apply a little pressure here. I think Nickerson might be forcing the issue. Either move or get out of the way. Currently looking good. We'll sit here with Nick Nickerson. Nickerson might have a seam here, taking a look underneath the 97. Know some complaints out there, have been some issues with the car in these late models. A little bit of a power issue. The guys trying to get this car to roll off that turn and just get a little more speed. Currently, I believe Jonathan Platt may be starting to run into the back of our field here. I believe that is Terry Condis that's going to take the high line in the 32 Matco machine. That is Terry Condis, unfortunately, going a lap down. As I believe marching on the way back is Bill Harkins. Harkins now down 3. That knocks him out of the top 10. Who's breaking into the top 10? David Lakey. Not bad here for the 84 machine. He's been on the charge here. He's now working around some lap traffic. Condis might be in trouble. Condis just getting started on his, well, actually finishing up his 6th lap here. On to the 7th, as everybody else is crossing the line, beginning their 20th lap. Terry Condis a little bit behind here. To mix up a little bit of the track here. Currently, Curtis Yancey is up to 4th. As Kevin Foster drops down 1 position, looks like he might have had a little stumble out of one of these turns. Great race here so far. Obviously, we are not catching any sort of fever out there. Currently, I am looking at a driver who is all over the place. Connor Gibson, way loose here. Something tells me he's getting ready to have a problem. Right now, he is all over the track. We move up into the Goodyear blimp view. And right now, that 31 has been tail wagging here for the past 3 laps. I don't know if he's got a tire going down or if he's overheated something here. Right now, the 83 taking his life into his own hands from 8th, looking for 7th. If Jackson Knock is making the move, putting Nicole Krazel behind him. Yep, right there. Currently, the 31 here of Connor Gibson might be in some deep trouble. Connor Gibson out there running with the Ethan Sikorsky Racing this year. His teammate Jonathan Platt still leading this race, has had all 27 all to himself. Currently out there leading, no problems here. And does not seem to be contested. Aggie has fallen off. Nickerson took over the spot for second. And that away they go. Now that pass only happened a couple laps ago. Here's what it looked like. Nickerson to the inside of the 97. Had him about dead to rights here. Boy, around he goes. So good pass there by Nick Nickerson. Very clean pass. That's all you can ask for. Here we go. Eddie Hagge was sitting in second. I'm wondering if he's overheated that right front tire. Pretty impressive how Jonathan Platt is able to do what he does out here without making any modifications out there to the setup. A couple of drivers are missing tonight. Regan Frugier. Like to see him out there. Might have put Dalton Kilroe down there. Justin Zemecki and Nolan Gross. Brandon Jackson. A bunch of big names. Even Russ Dowling unable to make it here tonight. A few things going on. I've put a couple drivers in those seats. We're going to get the sponsorship out there. Speaking of sponsorship, here we are to the inside. Is Ethan Sikorsky, Jason Greenwell and the Nerds Machine sitting to the outside. The FMW Solutions car. Looks like contact is made to the 83. Greenwell goes in, lets him go on around. First time coming down into pit. Matt Crockett in and out. 53 seconds for Terry Condis when he's in pit currently, but Matt Crockett serves a drive-through. Hambone asking if they can adjust it at all in this league. That is what Tuesday nights are for. Bill Harkins and most of the time Kevin Foster and Nick Nickerson go out there and help set these cars up and let Bill know what to do. They go ahead and modify the setup out there on the car, but if you were asking in-race changes, no, they cannot. They cannot make any changes. How they verify that at the end, unsure. We can dig into that a little bit if somebody would like to throw up the flag there and say, hey, what the heck is going on? Because how in the world can the guys who design the car watch the guy take off without any modifications? I'm not saying Jonathan, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Jonathan Platt is making any modifications here, but there you always want to be sure. All right, currently Terry Condis still sitting down here in pit. Looks like he is visiting now for the second time. The 32 machine might have trouble with the wheel. Boy, and the woes continue here for Terry Condis. Another week that the 32 has had trouble. Hopefully he's able to get back to his pit box there. Let's see if he can get that thing fixed. Currently he's hovering about 13 to 14 miles an hour. I'm wondering if he's got a gas pedal problem. Everybody else on track hovering somewhere between the 68 and 100 miles an hour as they head down the backstretch. Platt now going up and rubbing against that 1 second lead here he's got over top of Nick Nickerson. Curtis Yancey now holds on to third as he got past Eddie Hagge. And Eddie Hagge's hanging out in fourth as he stays in front of Kevin Foster. Currently, the past few laps, Kevin Foster's looking pretty hot here. about 0.2 faster than the driver in front of him of Eddie Hagge. He's actually matching time currently with Jonathan Platt. So Hagge's going to be in trouble here pretty quick. As we see how it goes. All right, Hambone, I hope I was able to answer that question there for you, buddy. All right, Eddie Hagge in trouble here. He's going to take the outside. Sometimes a simple adjustment by the driver, they are able to come away with changing a little bit of a steering ratio to help alleviate some pressure off that right front tire. These short tracks and cone nose shaped cars definitely don't shift the weight as well. See if we can get it through here. Right now, I still got our eyes here on Eddie Hagge. Looks like he is able to fend off Kevin Foster, but Hagge just trying to stay in front of him. You can tell just by the line that the 97 is running here. You can tell something's up. Kevin Foster now sees his time to attack. Drops down underneath the 97 here, rotating through 1 and 2 as they shoot on through. Yeah, Hambone, I guarantee you, I would love, if I were driving this league, is to make an adjustment. I'm always about that. Track temperature changes. You want to adjust the tire temperature a little bit. Maybe put a round of wedge in the back and then get it back out there. Some guys like it a little loose. Some guys like it a little tighter when it's heading in and out of the turns. It's got to be a setup that everyone matches out here. That way it's all on driver technique and skill rather than based on their setup. All right, let's take a look. David Lakey, I think, is taking a look here at the 31. We're able to squeak in just in time to see the 84 get past the Canadian Tire. 31. Currently following right behind him is going to be Jason Greenwell. Greenwell would love to get back to his original starting position here if he could just get past the 31. Looks like he's going to have to wait a few more laps to try to set him up here. Lakey blinks out just a hair, though, as Connor Gibson watching the 84 machine go in and out. We'll sit on top of Connor Gibson's car. Let's see how that 84 car is doing out here. Jay asking if spring bushings are still a thing. Yeah, you talking about when they slide the pucks in? Yeah, if you're talking about the spring rubbers, yes, but not currently in an open setup. You can change the spring rates, but I don't believe it allows you to put any spring rubber in the car during a pit stop. Whoa, 31! Connor Gibson saves the car. Wow, Jason Greenwell gets up to 9th. Connor Gibson all over the track. He's overheated the tires for sure. He's only got a little bit of time, about 0.3 of a second before Bob Berry decides to attack. I think right now Connor Gibson is going to be under fire here. Checking back in here on Jonathan Platt. Look who's come out of nowhere. Curtis Yancey. Taking a look at his times for the past about 15 laps here. This guy has turned it on. Curtis Yancey has come from the 5th position all the way up to 2nd and is now holding our leader in less than a quarter of a second. Here's a jam up here with Matt Crockett. Currently Yancey trying to get around. That's exactly what Jonathan Platt needed to buy him some breathing room. 0.3 of a second away. Checking back in on Hagge. Perfect Shine Auto Spa car there of Kevin Foster with the GFR Racing team. Still holds that bottom line. Wow, yeah, look at Hagge. Boy, he is all over the place. Jackson Knott goes in and bumps his car. Hagge just trying to hold this thing out. 11 laps to go. And it's probably going to be the longest 11 laps this guy's ever driven here. Bob Berry looking here. We saw him setting up Connor Gibson, and he's got him. So Connor Gibson strong at the middle part of this stint and falls off right here at the end. 4 down from his original start position now. Not mistaken, checking on our time, I believe currently still on the lead lap. Bill Harkins is the last one. He's trying to hold it out here. Checking back in on our leader again. Less than a quarter of a second. Curtis Yancey's on him. Expect that 51 not to let up here. He's going to give him a playful nudge as they creep up on Victor Weaver. Right now, the 51 feeling pretty gutsy right now. We would love to come away with this stage. We sit shotgun here with Curtis Yancey. They say this track is super bumpy. You'll be able to take a look. Caution is out. I believe this is not the stage. I've got Nicole Crazel wiped out here. What timing. Nicole Crazel trying to get that thing fired back up here. There she goes. She got it back fired up. All right. I was getting a little concerned there. I thought the car may have suffered some serious damage. Nicole Crazel getting back going here. This will reline everybody back up. Let's see what happens to Nicole. Here she is on the outside. Whoop, off the wall. Yep, coming out of turn number 4 there. Ricochets off the wall. And comes down, and Jackson Knock nowhere to go. Yep, up into the marbles. It starts to slide, and that's it. So Nicole Crazel survives. Pride is definitely hurt, though. Number 6 car, I guarantee you, might come down. I would probably say no one should be pitting right now, as we are so close to our stage. They may just do a quick runoff, as our caution laps do not count. We'll get back underway here. Currently, I do show a driver that did decide to pit. Connor Gibson, I think he's saying that car is just absolutely undrivable. See where this lands everybody. I believe Robin Allen may be correct. I think Victor Weaver may have the wave around here to get back onto the lead lap. Jay out there saying, remember when those were coming out back in the day? Yeah, the same as somebody's roll bar foam. Cough, cough, the 31 singular wireless car. Just randomly fell out of the car to get a well-timed caution. All right, Victor Weaver lines back up on the backstretch. And Jonathan Platt, here we go. Quick little 5-lap runoff here. This is where the trouble brews. Guys on old tires going to try to gun back at it. Perfect Shine Auto Spa team side by side here. Looks like we are back under caution. And I called it there. Looks like Nicole Crazel. Actually, excuse me, that actually might be Bob Berry. Got a couple of purple cars out there. Yep. So Bob Berry and Matt Crockett get into it. Let's see what causes these two gentlemen to bang it off the wall. Oof. Connor Gibson underneath and just pinches Matt. I would say Connor's feeling pretty confident out there, seeing that it looks like he threw on 4 new tires and gets back out there onto the track. So he's able to get a lot more speed, a lot more handling. And Bob Berry's going to come down and do probably much of the same here. Got to get a good part of that damage fixed. All right, now it's not going to work in Connor Gibson's favor here. Little contact out there is going to give him some incident points. Got to be careful on the incident points. I believe about 20 incident points, and drivers start serving drive-throughs. And then a drive-through every 5th incident point after that. And elimination. They go home if they break over 40. But you guys have been with me here during Simtrax broadcast, and we have seen some nasty wrecks out here and some ugly races. So some guys have gone home, but this does not seem to be one of them. Jay out there saying water bottles. I remember, I thought that was Jimmy Johnson that did that. All right, Nicole Krazel. We sit back here in 15th. Ready to get going here. Terry Condit's going to try to get going again. Oof, Matt Crockett off the wall. And Crockett's trying to let Nickerson know he's got to get the wave around. Oh, he's got a ton of damage to the front of that car. He's just got to make it to the stage. Let's get back under green here. Outside line for Jonathan Platt. He breaks out in front of Curtis Yancey. Yancey going to be staring at that rear bumper once again. Currently it looks like Nickerson with the outside line might have an opportunity to break in front of his own teammate, Kevin Foster, and he does. Currently Sikorsky's starting to poke his nose in there as he sits 5th. That's the 94 machine you see sitting on the outside. David Lakey in some trouble here. He's caught on the outside of Eddie Hagee. He's shuffling around. 1 lap left to go, and that's going to do it. That bringing us to our stage. All right, checking out there in the chat. All right. Glad everything's sounding good. I'm hoping the cars aren't too loud out there. Everything looking pretty solid. Right now, Eddie Hagee and David Lakey were duking it out there for that 6th position. It does look like David Lakey was able to come out on top. So 6th position for him is Jonathan Platt and Curtis Yancey working their way back on in. So it looks like we are back in it for another Jonathan Platt show. After he went 5 for 5, he takes a 4-race hiatus, comes back on race number 10. And go for it. Robin Allen saying, yeah, we've yet to see Platt run in traffic. I agree. We have yet to see him really run in traffic. I believe he had a horrible qualifying time at one point, but he was able to pull a rabbit out of his hat and get back out there. Honestly, that would be something. Bounty finally is put out for Nick Nickerson after his 3rd race win in a row. He gets the trifecta, and Jonathan Platt returns and might just be looking to take that away. It's a $20 bounty if anybody can go out there and beat Nick Nickerson. And currently Nickerson sitting in that 3rd spot. It's going to be trouble if he's going to do it. D-Train out there saying Platt is a little fast. All right, let's see if we can grab a couple of our drivers out here. As we had a couple big moves out there on the track. I would wonder if Bill's got something going on with the way everybody was slicing and moving out there. No can do. So caution does come out as we reach our halfway point here of this race, that we'll have a 5-minute runoff for drivers to fix the car. I know Matt Crockett desperately needing it. You see his car still looks like a crushed up soda can out there. We'll see if we can get him hopefully I see his pit crew trying to work all back in one piece. And it is very, very difficult to see these guys try to return and come back from that kind of racing. All right, well, we talked about somebody who might have had a little trouble out there. Connor Gibson, fresh tires out there, tough racing. We saw you fishtailing a good bit out there. How's that track holding up for you?
Honestly, I chewed through those tires like I can't even think of a good comparison. I chewed through them, and then when that caution came out, I was like, "Oh, sweet! This is a great opportunity to come down, get 4 fresh ones, and charge to the front here for the last 5 laps." But then I decided to just take out Bob. I guess missed my braking point, just killed Bob.
Yeah, well, fresh tires, man, it's going to brake easier, it's going to roll easier, you're going to get a ton more speed, and the turning that there was a lot of people out there fishtailing tonight. Now, is it just the tires getting chewed off, or is the track just being so rough and bumpy?
One thing that a lot of guys have noticed and have said about is there's a lot of rubber buildup. So if you get out of the line at all and you get into that, then you're sliding, and the wear on the right rear is pretty heavy tonight, so it's a lot of tire wear on the right rear is causing the sliding, but I'd say mostly the rubber buildup on the outside, it's causing the biggest problems for people tonight.
Okay, I noticed Nicole Crazel stepped out of line just a little bit, hit the marbles, and around she went, so it is definitely pretty treacherous out there on the track. Connor, when we look at this second half here, buddy, what is the game plan? We've got 4 fresh tires. I'm assuming you threw on a second pair here during the break. I mean, what happens now?
Oh, that's a good question. Try to stay out of trouble and try to get back up there to the front. I'm gonna try to save the tires a little better, but once I get a bone to chase, then that's hard to do. So we'll see what happens. I'll try to discipline and try to get a win for the guys.
All right. Well, Connor, good luck to you out there, man. I know this track very rough and very difficult. I've been watching a lot of you guys from inside the cockpit view, swinging the arms all over the place, just trying to keep this thing going in a straight line. Good luck to you out there, buddy.
Thanks.
All right, Connor Gibson going to be having his work cut out for him here, and we'll probably see another driver out there who's having probably just as much trouble as some of these other guys. Eddie Haggy. Boy, this race, man, you've been able to hang out with Jonathan Platt. You've been able to fire up to the front. We've marched back a little bit. We've getting really loose. Not as loose as we saw Connor Gibson. What's going on out there on the track?
Yeah, just like you said it. I mean, just burning my rears off and driving a little too hard. So we're going to have to fix that on the second run. It's hard to tell with these races, man. Like, sometimes, you know, there's some level of tire saving and actual racing, and then sometimes it's just Q laps. So this is a race that you got to race and save your stuff, and I'll have to do that better in the last 80 laps.
Well, it's hard to do when you're trying to run down Jonathan Platt, but you got Nick Nickerson, you've got Kevin Foster and Curtis Yancey pushing you from behind. So it's got to be a happy medium here somewhere.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't know. The tricky thing is saving it while letting guys that are burning it up pass you, but I don't know. That caution didn't help us, and I don't know. We're gonna need some cautions and some strategy for me to have a shot, but we'll see.
All right, well, keep working hard, obviously. Even Connor was saying there's a rubber build-up line out there. You can't fall out of that groove or you're heading backwards. So good luck to you out there, Eddie.
Absolutely. Thanks, brother.
Yep. All right, we'll send Eddie back down to CPR Racing. That way he can hang out with Jackson Knock and Jason Greenwell. Currently, Curtis Yancey, Ethan Sikorsky, and Jonathan Platt with the ESR Racing team are getting ready there. As you see currently Eddie Haggy trying to make sure he can get lined up. Don't want to try to take away from these guys too much here, as they've got to get lined back up for this restart. They've got a little bit of room here in pit road, so that's going to get Jonathan Platt starting in that number 1 position. Yancey, I believe, will be to his outside. Nickerson, Foster. Yep, no surprise there. Those guys started 3-4, and they will be starting again here the second half in the 3-4. Pretty crazy when you see Foster march back a couple of positions and then charge right back forward. He's going for it. So once again, appreciate you guys joining us here at Simtrax Broadcasting. We're bringing you the Bandit Racing League here at South Boston Speedway. Definitely a track very treacherous with a lot of banking out there that is fortunate for the drivers to battle against one another, but the bumps in the track, you've got to hit them just right, or otherwise you are sliding out of control and into the wall. Currently, we see the number 15 out there, I think, getting squared away. I hope his car got back in one piece. It still looks pretty rough out there. And I would say he might be thinking he's going to be in another caution out there and come back down and take that fast repair if he can. So I believe they are making sure our lineup is correct before they get back out there. Pace car is heading on off. There we go. This pace car has been running it off here for the past couple of laps. That's going to put currently Jonathan Platt up there pretty quick. He chooses outside line. After that, everybody has to file in behind him. Right now, it looks like, something happened to Kevin Foster out there. There he is. All right. Foster had a little bit of a hiccup there. All right, get everything squared away. Jonathan Platt, Curtis Yancey in the front row. Nickerson, Foster, row number 2, Sikorsky and Lakey. Row number 3, moving on to Jason Greenwell, will be to the outside of Eddie Haggie. Aggies have been unfortunately falling backwards, though. That means that's going to mean Bill Harkins and Jackson Knock are going to be going at it. Victor Weaver and Connor Gibson. Weaver's got the inside line. Bob Berry making up that 13th spot. We are back under green right now. Boy, quick jump there by Platt. He gets out front real quick and in a hurry. Foster hangs to the outside to let Nickerson make the pass. Contact, here it comes. Around we go. We got drivers backwards. David Lakey is one of them. Ethan Sikorsky is the other. Not mistaken, these guys were almost side by side out there. Pretty rough run there. Let's see what happens to Ethan Sikorsky, and showing he's got the worst of it here. Sikorsky goes in for the turn. Now I'm wondering if Lakey got in the back of him. Yep. Lakey gets in the back of him. Here's Eddie Haggie and Greenwell. Everybody squishes up toward the top because the bottom 2 lanes are completely blocked. Yeah, this looks like everybody miscalculated that turn entry there and got these guys caught up. Jonathan Platt trying to make sure that car feels good. Everything's feeling fine. I had a weird restart there. He was able to get out in front of Curtis Yancey quick and in a hurry. Made it happen. So right now our drivers that did get caught up in that caution, I believe are going to be hopefully by their numbers not side by side. I believe David Lakey will be 12th. Ethan Sikorsky, I believe, is going to be starting 13th. Our lap down cars consist of Nicole Krazel, Matt Crockett, and Terry Condis. Robin Allen recommending that we figure out how to take Platt off the line. We've only seen one time that somebody had the wherewithal to go ahead and bury that fender into the door. And that way when he took off, it would pull you too. That's definitely what you want to do if Yancey could get close enough and drive him into turn number 1 and keep him on the outside. I think that would really get Jonathan Platt off his game here. Yancey's a good one to do it. You guys have seen him in other series. This is a very gutsy driver. Yancey's not really afraid to do anything. He'd like to race you fair. But in certain circumstances, right now he's got to be on it. On the hammer here. Back at it. Jonathan Platt. Yep, gets that breakaway. Boy, he's just so good at these restarts here. So Nickerson sits 3rd. Jonathan Platt already trying to work on a quarter of a second breakaway here if he can. Currently everybody still slicing through. Jackson Knox just past Jason Greenwell. I believe Bill Harkins is now making a pass around Connor Gibson. Sliding on through. Notice how this track's being rubbered up. Fresh tires. Everybody's got to wait for them to settle in just a hair before they start pressing on. Nickerson not afraid, though. Nickerson taking a look to the outside here of the 51. There we go. Curtis Yancey gives Jonathan Platt a nudge here. Platt going to be looking to see if he can get a little turn exit speed to break away from Curtis Yancey if he can. Yancey dives in a little bit harder to see if he can shake him up. Right now, Yancey trying to trail break him a little bit. He gets a little bit slower these past couple of turns. Nickerson's on him. Currently, these are our top three. You see teetering on the outside of our screen is going to be Kevin Foster. Sometimes you get even a little wink there of Eddie Hagge. He's rounding out our top five. Jonathan Platt still trying to see if he can hold out in front of Curtis Yancey. That is one thing to be confident about. So when somebody is in the sitting in that rear view mirror, you just worry about driving out that windshield. Platt definitely nervous. He lets these guys burn their stuff up trying to get around him. And he's going to make them work for it. Yancey on the brakes, heavy there. Nickerson gets way out of line. Let's check in on Jackson Knock here. Jackson Knock there for a little bit. About 2 or 3 laps. He was battling out there with Jason Greenwell, but he comes out on top. He comes up with the 6th position as Greenwell falls back to the 9th position. Gives himself a little bit of a headache here tonight. Greenwell would love to be able to fight back to the front. Let's check back in on Victor Weaver. I think Victor's about to get bumped and pushed around here by the 75. He gets hung here on the outside. Wow! Victor trying to triangulate that turn as much as he can. He can slice around. Right now, I think Bob Berry thinks he's clear and tells him he's looking good, and then all of a sudden, bang, he's right back at it. Currently, these two duking it out. Eddie Hagge gets around Kevin Foster. This looks like Victor Weaver will fend him off. Take a look at that. Eddie Hagge around Kevin Foster here. This is the shot for 4th. Look how he gets Kevin Foster out of the line. Hagge able to overtake. Jackson Knock did much of the same. And Nickerson ended up with a problem. Nickerson back to 5th. And not quite sure what's going on with Nickerson. I'm listening to the radio and I don't hear anything saying the number 2 had a problem. But as soon as they're out of the groove, look how Jackson Knock. He knows better. Don't leave Eddie Hagge right now. He's on the charge forward. So currently they both get around Nickerson as he gets out of line. Platt still holds on to the lead as Yancey remains in 2nd. Eddie Hagge trying to change it up a little bit. Started back there in 6th. He's now up to 3rd. Let's check back in on Bob Berry. It looks like he might have got moved out of the way a little bit there by Ethan Sikorsky. Currently Nicole Krazel hoping if a caution does come out, it'll go her way for once. Currently it's gotten Matt Crockett off the hook a couple of times, and Bill Harkins is around. No caution out yet. So I believe Bill Harkins and Kevin Foster are around. Race control does not throw the caution, and I'm wondering if it's because they were off track. We'll see where this caution starts here. Bill Harkins sitting behind the 8. Woof. Now, we know Bill Harkins is good for entering the turn fast. And definitely an accordion effect happened there. And no caution is going to come out. That might take out Foster's night. From a checkup, we saw way ahead of him. I give it to Bill, staying behind that wheel here. He's going Going to try to keep rolling this out until a caution may possibly come out, but that should give you a hint. Guys are starting to get a little bit antsy out there. They want to push a little harder than maybe the guys around him. Only Eddie Haggy hanging in fourth. Knock got around him as well. So currently Jackson Knock, fastest man on the track. Currently his best time he's run out there has been a 15:24. Sneak on around here. Now as he works there on Yancey, Nickerson still hangs out in fifth. Eddie Haggy's fourth. Hambone saying need Bill to win one of these weeks. Yeah. I just don't think he gets the luck of the draw here. All right, Eddie Haggy caught on the outside line this time. Nickerson, notice how he's dropping off below the apron, or onto the apron, to see if he can get a little more speed out of that car. He got a good cut underneath Eddie Haggy and was able to keep him off. And now he'll be on to the OxyClean machine of Jackson Knock. Jay out there hoping Bill could possibly win one out here tonight. No, right now Bill is scrambling right now. He's currently, I think, about 13 and a half seconds back from the lead, which means only 2 seconds behind him sits Jonathan Platt. That's exactly what you see here. Here's Bill Harkins. There's Victor Weaver. Here's Bob Berry. And there's Jonathan Platt. Ooh, look out. Go ahead and get Nicole Crazy on the outside, and a well-timed caution. Jackson Knock. Caution is out. Car's still moving in the right direction. I think the only heartbreaking thing is Nicole Crazy goes down a lap there, and will only be getting that lap back. Right. Pit stops for a lot of guys, and ones that you think that are looking to change it up. I love this call. Currently drivers coming down into pit road here. I believe we are on lap 105. Last time everybody pit was back on lap 60. Excuse me, pit back on lap 71. So 30 lap fresher tires. Eddie Haggy said he needed a good caution to come out at a very good time and try to get some pit strategy. His time is now. It has worked. I love this call. Our top 4 drivers that you see up on the board did not pit. That goes to Jonathan Platt, Curtis Yancey, Nickerson, and David Lakey have realized what's happened, and they know they're going to get the doors blown off them here. So coming into pit now is Nickerson and David Lakey. They'll be, unfortunately, in the back of the pack at the restart. By getting ready to get all lined up here. Pace car is off. Jonathan Platt drives around one more time here. He's currently working their way out of pit road is Lakey and Nickerson. Boy, this would be a wonderful breaking point here for Eddie Haggy. Now everybody else got the memo. Behind our front 2 now. Platt and Yancey. They're going to see if they can fend off the entire field now. I think the battle's now moved on from those two. They've got to worry about the other 14 drivers behind them. Hopefully they don't try to kill each other in the making of this. Eddie Hagge looking to the inside here of Matt Crockett. Impressive, Matt Crockett's car still mobile. Especially with some of that damage to the Liquid Death Machine. Jason Greenwell showing some issues here as he falls way back. Currently as he fights along here with David Lakey. Back to Matt Crockett. Taking a look here where Connor Gibson is. I'd like to find a driver, let's say Ethan Sikorsky if we can, and see how he is looking and what this field looks like. Boy, you almost see Connor Gibson pushing him off the bottom there. I guarantee you there's going to be some words after that one. The 31 leaving absolutely no room. Expect Sikorsky to possibly give the 31 a shove. If I'm not mistaken, I thought these two boys were teammates. Connor Gibson should be on the Ethan Sikorsky team. Certainly not down there with Ethan Sikorsky. But even fresher tires here do not seem to be making a difference, but Eddie Hagge finally able to get underneath of Curtis Yancey here. He's got second. Able to pile drive through, gets a good turn. Yancey's going to go ahead and let him on by. Doesn't look like he is looking to fight back anytime soon. Currently, Hagge is making up some ground here. He was a tenth of a second faster last lap than our leader. Continue this roll here. We're seeing a lot of things happening, and Jonathan Platt gets the shove of a lifetime here. Tons of damage to the back of the 43. Looks like Jonathan Platt's spoiler has been kicked up into his rear window. And it looks like 97 of Eddie Hagge has got the lead. Well-timed caution there, and he called it. I'm going to pit. He comes down in the pit and is able to overtake. Fantastic job here. As I want to see if I can take a peek at what happened to Jonathan Platt. As they get 3 wide, Yancey almost off the table here. There's Platt, quick brake check. Knock gets into the back of him. You see Ethan Sikorsky getting bumped and banged around. He slings all the way to the back. But the past few laps, Sikorsky's actually been able to fight back up to the 7th position. Boy, is this a mix-up or what? Welcome to South Boston. It's everywhere. Nick Nickerson is now to 8th. Started there at the back of the field, trying to still chug on through. Can't get it. Bob Berry to the outside here of Kevin Foster. Perfect Shine Auto Spa Machine getting some work in here tonight. Unfortunately, Foster now falls to 6th. Teammates nose to tail again. Currently coming down into pit road. Black flag out for Jackson Knock. Jackson Knock is pushed beyond that incident limit there. As he has to come down. Jackson Knock looks like he's then sped through pit road. Might have been DQ'd here. For Jackson Knock, caution is out. As Victor Weaver seems to be involved. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, it is definitely a lot of stuff happening out here on the track. Ton of stuff happening. would say the only thing that's going to plateau this out is if Jonathan Platt decides to come down into pit. I don't know if it's going to be enough of a difference, though. Impressive. They were able to kind of snap their fingers here in the 43. The rear bumper's back intact. He's got a little damage on the front. So Platt looks like he will be able to continue. Holy cow. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what gets Victor Weaver out of shape here. Like you get under him here? Yep. Jackson Knock gets disqualified. Knock gets underneath him and Greenwell changes it up. And then insult to injury. I know you guys aren't talking about the double tap by the zero out there. It looked like Matt Crockett went in and served it up for him. Down pit road comes the 15. Might be time for that fast repair. All right, so it looks like Jackson knocked down and out here. Maybe we'll be able to have a little bit of a peek in here with our race control with Dalton Kilrow if possible. I'm hoping that we can, that the number 41 is available. Currently, I am showing, Dalton, what's going on with Jackson Knock? He's DQ'd tonight.
So from what it looks like is that he had gotten a drive-through for incident points, and then he went into the pits, and I'm not sure if he just forgot that it's a drive-through, but he stopped into his pit stall and then came back out, still had the penalty, and by the time he crossed the finish line, it's very quick around here.
I was going to say not served in the amount of time. That's what I was wondering, if he sped through pit road or if it didn't count it there. Yuck.
Yeah, unfortunate situation. Hate to see a competitor, especially of his caliber, taken out because of
just technicality.
Nothing like that, yeah.
Yep. All right, Dalton, good luck up there, buddy. Appreciate the follow-through.
Yep.
All right, Dalton Kilrow, we'll send him back up to the booth. Eddie Hagge going to get started off here. Outside line, doesn't look like he can nail a start the way that Jonathan Platt can, so he's now going to have to fight off Curtis Yancey. Yancey may be able to pull off a Cinderella story here if he can come away with this shot. He's only got a limited time to do it. Curtis Yancey, last win we saw is the only one he's gotten so far was back at Thompson Speedway. But we are back under caution. And I think Curtis Yancey was involved. Yeah, seeing that Curtis Yancey might get sent all the way back. Expect the 51 to pit here. As he is a little bit off pace. He was able to hang with the front. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4 takers, 5 takers. Here we go. A few more guys coming down in the pit, looking to change it up a little bit. Nickerson, Kevin Foster, Curtis Yancey, Ethan Sikorsky. Bob Berry came on down, and so did David Lakey that we're taking a look at. Currently, it looks like 4 tires and fuel for everybody out there. Probably just enough fuel to get them past the line. And maybe for an extra caution or two. Still not pitting here is the 43 of Jonathan Platt. Interesting call here to stay out and try to duke it out with Eddie Hagge. Hagge might take the inside line on this restart. See if he can break through. Eddie Hagge would love to come away with this win. And I see out there Robin Allen is rooting for Eddie Hagge. I would say that is a guy who's been divvied a ton of bad luck here lately. And right now, this is his to lose. I believe once we get back underway, should have about 25 laps or so to come away with it. All right, Eddie Haggy decides to choose outside line. Eddie Haggy super nervous here. Camera's all on him. So we take an eye here at what Eddie Haggy can do. See him get lined up here for the restart. All right, Haggy, yeah, good turn here. He's got to cut down quick. In front of Jonathan Platt, goes ahead and leans into the gas, trying to get through, and not marking off at all here. Bill Harkins hanging out here in third. Currently has Harkins battling with Connor Gibson. These two have gotten into it before. Expect to see a little scuffle here from Harkins. Harkins able to fend him off. Haggy able to fend off Jonathan Platt, but as I say that, Platt looking to the inside. Haggy's got to be careful of what mirror watching. Platt knows how to shake you up out there, and that's exactly what he's trying to do. And now Eddie Haggy doing everything he can. Here's the 43 taking a look to the inside as we're on the rear bumper here of Eddie Haggy. Currently we have Haggy, Platt, Harkins, Nickerson, and Gibson. Nickerson finally opener on up. Pit back on lap 125. 21 laps left to go here as we continue this roll. Currently Nickerson looking to the inside of Bill Harkins. There's the pass to third. Definitely mixing it up here. Nickerson on fire. Currently Nickerson has 20 lap pressure tires than our leader. Wheel saying go 97, hammer down. Funny you say that for the hammer down. 150 here. Right now everybody is rooting on Eddie Haggy. Everybody on edge. The Magathy HR consulting machine. Currently he still continues forward. Staying out in front of the 43 that's got some damage to the nose. Currently out of line, Nickerson, high side. Definitely not going to assist in the turn there, but his turn exit speed proves otherwise. He's going to look to do it one more time. Nickerson going to go up there and give a little bump here to the 43. Decides not to. He backs up a little bit. There we go. Nickerson to the inside of Platt. Right now, Eddie Haggy's nervous. He's been driving the tires off this thing to stay out in front of Platt and Nickerson. Almost looks like he hits the brakes on Platt and lets Eddie Haggy get out to a half a second lead. Doesn't look like any intentional braking here, but Platt is being unseated. But remember, there is still a bounty on this man right here in the number 2. If Nickerson can come away with the win, his bounty continues to next week when we end up at Irwindale. 13 laps left to go. Right now, these are going to be the hardest 13 laps Eddie Haggy's ever run. To the inside, Nickerson taking a look. He's going to have it. Not completing the pass here. Wow, he's able to fend him off. Eddie Haggy diving down to the bottom quickly now. You notice he's blocking the bottom. Caution is out. Holy cow, horrible timing. This one caused by Curtis Yancey, Matt Crockett back here. I showed Jason Greenwell still trying to get that car turned around. Caution returns back to the track. Curtis Yancey, Matt Crockett, Jason Greenwell. Let's see what happens here. Yep, Yancey got into a little bit there. Wow! Jason Greenwell Look at this wreck. Off the wall, ricochets back up. Lakey sends him airborne. Take another look at that from Jason Greenwell's seat here. Boy, you tell Greenwell got nervous. He did not let off the gas when he ricocheted into that inside wall, so when he faced up, that did not help in the assistance of him launching back up the track. So fortunately, hopefully Jason Greenwell saved that fast repair, as this shows he has been obviously delivered the Delta Meatball flag out there, so he's got to serve a little bit of time down there, get that fixed. Black flags divvied out for David Lakey and Connor Gibson. It looks like they're going to be serving drive-thrus when we get back under green. Too many incident points for these gentlemen. Currently, Lakey's sitting 7th, Connor Gibson is 9th. And they will be in the back of the pack here, especially serving a drive-thru. See if anybody's considering some offset pitting here. Looking to see if anybody's in the car care center. Nobody as of yet. Jason Greenwell still down there for the last 2 minutes. Trying to get that car squared away, see if he can get back out there. This is unfortunately Jason Greenwell's 4th time visiting pit road. Green flag is out. Connor Gibson smart into pits immediately. Let's get back underway here. Right now I'm looking for Eddie Haggie. Haggie in trouble. Haggie to the outside here of Nickerson. Boy, if that was at the line, Haggie would have had it. He's got 9 laps to see if he can hold that number 2 car down to the bottom. Currently, Haggie's got the turn exit speed, but he's got to stay close. Wow, Haggie off the wall. Haggie losing a little bit of grip here on the lead. Might not have it. Here's that left front look here as he gets close to this Perfect Shine Auto Spa car. He does not want Nickerson to be able to rotate out, and right there, that's a power play. Right now, when Haggie moves down on the straightaway here, it's not allowing Nickerson to get the speed he needs to get away. Requires a little more steering input here from Eddie Haggie, and that's what you're seeing now. A little bit of slipping and sliding from our 2 guys here in the front. I'll talk a little bit about this. Currently, Bill Harkins is moving up, and so is Curtis Yancey, but the caution returns. You're calling for Kevin Foster. Unfortunately, I believe Kevin Foster was involved in this caution. So one Perfect Shine Auto Spa car is in good shape. Another one's getting pretty mixed up here. Whoop. All right, RC, that one's on you. Do we call this a racing incident? Because what ends up happening is they come through the turn here. Kevin Foster and Bill are fine. When Yancey comes up and touches the 12, you see it wiggles the 12 car into him. Man. Because Bill, all he can do is turn a little bit to the left to try to keep from doing it. So Bill gets a little wiggle there, and it actually ends up dumping Kevin Foster out of the way. Now Kelly Queel, I'm sure, is possibly hearing somebody yelling down there. Andrew Wright out there saying that was a racing incident. Kelly Queel not happy about that, but racing's racing. Might have to take him on another day. Irwindale is next week. Fortunately, I have confirmed it will actually be the outer ring. They're not running the figure 8. Jay out there saying that pace car Camry's going to need an oil change. Yeah, it's possible. I was going to say, we've been in some messy races, Jay. If you tuned in at the beginning of the season, you remember we were back-to-back. That was a few painful races. I mean, I'm not just going to break it. I mean, it was some painful races, but it has definitely been a lot cleaner here tonight. Everybody getting ready here. See the camera flashes out there in the stands. They will be coming up. I believe it's 5 to go when we get back under green. Currently showing single file right now. And Eddie Haggy decided to come down into pit on lap 146. I'm not sure about that one. All right, we're back under green. Nickerson's got it. Honestly, from our angle here, and statistically, Nickerson, this should be a chip shot. Jonathan Platt. Last pit on back, lap 71. He's got a guy with some older tires, but Nickerson is the one who's loose. Jonathan Platt seeing if he's got anything for these guys as Nickerson breaks away by half a second. Ethan Sikorsky sitting in our third spot. Victor Weaver is sitting fourth. If he can hold off these two drivers behind him of Crockett and Connor Gibson, as the white flag is out, Victor Weaver might be looking at himself at a top 5 finish here. I believe Connor Gibson may have just dumped somebody there. Nickerson coming to the line here. And Eddie Haggy's heart is broken here. He gets up to 6th. Victor Weaver, top 5 finish, sits 4th. Connor Gibson is 5th. Platt is 2nd, so the bounty continues for Nick Nickerson. So Nickerson now goes 4 for 4 as he has the Respect Bumper 150, the Bootlegger 125, the Murica 150, and now the hammer down at the South Boston Speedway at the 150. Boy, what an awesome job here. Nickerson did a fantastic job coming away with yet another win here. This guy's got this thing on a rope. So currently Nickerson is able to hold off Jonathan Platt even in the points. That'll be even better. I think Jonathan Platt will get some points here for having one of the fastest laps out there, but not the fastest lap. That's going to go to Nickerson as well. Wrong. I lied. That is going to actually go to Curtis Yancey for the fastest time. He had a 15:12 out there and definitely owned it. So great job here by our guys. We're going to be rolling in for our third place driver. We'll find Ethan Sikorsky out there. All right, the 94 machine. Third place, dude. What a race.
Yeah, it was definitely chaotic. Holy crap.
Yeah, well, front to back, man. It's just so difficult out there, but you were able to survive. That's the easiest way of saying it. We were able to survive the race. Talk to me kind of on the way through it from your angle.
Well, at the start, it was pretty calm, and just managing the tires, I was able to get through and just pick them off one at a time. But then it just, the second half devolved into complete and utter chaos. To be honest with you, I don't know how. I was involved in pretty much every single wreck, it seems like, yet somehow, some way, managed to pull it out of my butt. So I'll take it. I mean, hey, anytime you get a podium, I'll take it.
Would pit stops be what you would say was the culprit of this one, being so chaotic at the end?
Yes and no. Yes, with people on pressure tires, they're going to be a lot faster, but I think it's just a lot of like misjudgments and impatience and just typical short track racing, really.
I was going to say, there's no such thing as impatience on short tracks. It's go time, it's go time. All right, Ethan, go and give me a shout out, brother.
Thank you, Patrick, for putting up a great broadcast, and thank you, Kevin, and all the admins that put together a fun league. I enjoy coming out on Wednesdays and racing with y'all.
All right, Ethan, congratulations on a third place finish, man. It's been quite a while since we talked to you in a warm-up or anything like that. I'm glad we were able to talk to you in a podium position. See if you can do it next week at Irwindale.
Yep, thank you.
Yep. All right, that's going to be Ethan Sikorsky, you guys, and trying to unseat Nickerson. All right, Jonathan Platt, you've been on hiatus here for a while, but you definitely came in clutch when you needed to. When we roll this back, should we have pit?
I mean, I don't know. Like, rules at the beginning of the year were one set of tires and the pits, and now we got multiple sets, so it kind of plays a little bit different strategy. Kind of a sit and duck when you're a leader. Like, you can't just give up track position, but everybody knows that the only way they're going to be able to pass is if they come get new tires. So, yeah, probably the call is to pit, but if I pit, maybe everybody stays out and I'm buried in, track position-wise. So, I mean, I don't know.
Danged if you do, danged if you don't. Seeing that you were up front, you didn't really have much of a choice until everybody behind you were pitting. I know Nickerson was pretty fast here tonight. He now goes 4 for 4. Well, since you left, man, this guy's really been conquering these tracks. Irwindale's next week. Will we have an opportunity to see the 43 back out on the track?
No, I don't think so. I don't know how many more I'm going to be able to make with racing season starting. Well, racing season starting in February, but it's getting a little bit thicker right now, so probably not.
Bro. All right, well, we will hold our breath, and hopefully we see you return. There's a ton of season left to go here, and hopefully we will see you return. I definitely expect to see you. I expect to see you sometime around the Nashville spot, maybe somewhere around April 15th. No one likes racing on the tax day. So, Jonathan Platt, go and give me a shout-out here, buddy.
I'd like to thank everybody from the league, Bill, Nick, Kevin, everybody that puts their hands in this thing. It's a lot of fun. I'd like to thank everybody in the car, as far as it is, pull down, clear load communications. I felt like we had a pretty good race today. It didn't seem like it was very caution-filled like the first handful that we had, so things are definitely going the correct direction, and that's an awesome thing to see. Quite a few cars here tonight, so hopefully it gets bigger.
Whew. All right. Well, Jonathan Platt, congratulations on your second place finish, buddy. Very unusual not to be talking to you in the next following spot, but I got a feeling I have a feeling we'll talk again when you get free time. Appreciate it, buddy, and congratulations on your second place finish.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Jonathan Platt there, and Nickerson able to go ahead and keep that bounty going here. Boy, number one spot. I guarantee you, this was a nail biter right here at the end.
Yeah, man. I mean, I really didn't think I had much of it up till about, I don't know, 20 to go when that big wreck happened. Or actually, it had been after that wreck happened because I came down and got my damage repaired and got tires. And, I made it up to a certain point quick enough to where I'm like, oh, crap, I might actually get this. And, yeah, man, it just kind of played out. And, I kind of feel bad for stealing that one from Eddie because he really dogged his way to the front there. But I just ended up having fresh tires towards the end of the race, and just wasn't anybody that could really stop me. I just had that good exit speed, so yeah, but I'll take another one.
What an interesting pit call, though. We were, I would say even the people out here, we were all kind of rooting on Eddie Hagge. I mean, this guy, we talked to him during the break, during the stage break, and he said, I've got to get a well-timed caution. I'm going to put tires on this car, and we're going to fly. The front four of you guys didn't pit, but you did later on. And he did exactly what he said he was going to do. But wow, the way to open it up. For you to come in and pit much later. I mean, you pit, I think, 25 laps later than he did. I think, yeah, he came in on 105, you came in on 125. And just to change the entire race, it was now all of a sudden you have the advantage here. You just got to get past some of the fastest guys out there on the track. When you got past Bill Harkins, you fired past Jonathan Platt, and it almost seemed like Eddie Hagge, unfortunately, was going to be a sitting duck here at the end.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like, what we're learning throughout this series is, like, those top four guys or whatever, if you want to, like, pass them, if I'm behind Platt and Curtis, like, I have to come in for tires because there's just no way I'm going to be able to pass them one-on-one. Both of them, maybe one of them if they made a mistake, but I have to do something different if I want to get past them. So it's just what you got to do. What I'm figuring out you have to do now, but it's just all about the timing, man. It's a little bit strategy and mostly luck, right? Coming down and get tires, and hopefully you have a couple well-placed cautions that put you back towards the front, because even if you have the freshest tires, passing 10 cars and getting to the front within 30, 40 laps is a pretty tall task. But yeah, man, I had fun. I mean, it's this track actually turned out to be really fun to race and even just drive. So hopefully it was fun to watch.
Oh, yeah. Well, we saw guys get fishtailing out there. Nick, I thought you had made a Widowmaker mistake out there on the turn exit. You smacked the wall with Platt right behind you. I was like, dude, don't mess up now. Stop looking at the mirror. And it's going to be tough. But Irwindale is next week, man. I mean, this is going to be sorry to break your heart. We're not the figure eight. We're going to be racing the outer ring.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to be around next week. Hell yeah. So looking forward to that one. That's going to be interesting because, I mean, my time on iRacing, Irwindale was always like a top lane dominant. So I'm kind of curious how the bottom lane is going to work towards the end of the race. Or if we're all just going to, jam pack up there against the wall the whole race. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. Hopefully I don't know if they have night lighting for that track. Hopefully they do, but going to be a fun one.
Wouldn't it be cool if they didn't?
Yeah. I don't know. It didn't for the longest time. I don't know if I can't remember if they ever came out with night lighting for that one, but yeah, we'll see, man. Should be a fun race.
All right, Nick. Yeah, floor is yours, buddy. Go and give me the shout-outs of the sponsors out here watching you, buddy.
Yeah, man. Just a good old Perfect Shine Auto Spa, Kevin and Bill, and appreciate putting on the broadcast, man.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. Appreciate you guys going ahead and wrangling up a few more drivers. I mean, we even got Lady Chaos out here. We got Nicole Crazel. I mean, that's awesome. Bill Harkins back on the track. This was definitely an exciting night and tons of stuff happening. I hope you guys can actually almost redo this next week with a little bit of different changes out there. I mean, we actually had pit strategy this race. So, Nick, congratulations on your win, and definitely expect to see you do it again, buddy.
Heck yeah, man. Catch you next week.
Oh, yeah. All right, so Nickerson says he will be returning next week, which is super exciting to see how he finished in first again. So this guy has been winning since February 18th and has not lost yet. This guy is definitely on a roll here. This will be the first time that as well, this will be the first time this season that the driver who scored on the pole did not win the race. So a little couple things mixing around. I may be incorrect. We'll double check on my notes here if Southern National was one of them. I think Nick scored on the pole and Jonathan won that race. But regardless, still a fantastic race here at the end with the Bandit Racing League. Appreciate you guys joining us here at Simtrax Broadcasting. I appreciate all you guys tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe out there. That way you guys can chat with me out there. I try to respond to you guys as much as I can. But when that racing gets hot, we definitely stay hot. But from all of us here at Simtrax Broadcasting, be well, be safe, be kind. We'll see all you guys next time.